What's up, good people? Welcome to another episode of Live at 5, presented by Peep Game TV. I'm your man, SRD, and my main man, 100 Grand, is still doing a job. And as usual, we start off with our mission, our intentions, and our goal is to uplift fallen humanity, one person, one family, one one neighborhood, one city, one state at a time. I want to wait until more people come on before I start getting into what I normally get into. So now that we have some people here, I hope you enjoyed yesterday's guest speaking about you know our basically our heritage, our identity. I think that is truly important because many of us wonder and don't know. And I think more of us should know who we are so that we can begin to rectify the harm that it has done to us by not knowing who we were. And when you look at what we're dealing with in this land that we many of us are now learning that it's been our homeland all the time. It's been something that we were taught, that we were brought to this land. And the reality is that our ancestors were already here. They were already here in this land prior to it being invaded by what we now call the foreigners, what we now call America. And we looking at ourselves as let's look at ourselves as being adopted, being adopted by parents, and our parents at this time would be America would be our mother, and the United States government would be our father. And these adopted parents only allow us to take care of their children, and they take care of their children, and all that we do, very little do we get is to take care of our children or take care of us, because their rules and regulations, house rules, we use the land as the house. The house rules prohibit us from being able to do business. Let's just think about what we have to gain by this difficult journey of reestablishing our own government. Reestablishing our own government is not going to be an easy journey, nor will it be an easy task. However, it will be rewarding. And as Brother Bay said, that for any of you who are interested in taking on the task, you would reach out to the Wazir Regional Council, which is the WRZ. And you would be able to find that on YouTube, Wazir Regional Council, WRC.com. And you'd reach out to them and find out if you are in a Moroccan state, because we are Moors. We are Moroccan. We are Moorish. We, it benefits us to accept that and begin to operate from that stance, because what we can do as being a Moor, we will not be able to do it as being American, African American, or Black. We won't be able to do it. we will run into too many obstacles when it comes to that. This that I'm speaking about is not a popular subject. It's not popular because it's something that many people would like to be would like it to be kept quiet, kept it keep it under wraps, so to speak. Because let's face it, many of you go to work every day. You go to work every day, you pay your bills, and when you're paying your bills, let's just look at how your money goes. You pay your bills, you pay your public service bill, you pay your cable bill, you pay your insurance, you pay those of you who have car payments, you pay your rent, you pay your mortgage, you go to the store to buy food, and all of these things you go do. When you go into the store to buy food, paying your public service bill, paying your cable bill, paying your water bill, paying your rent, whatever you're paying, who does the money really go to? How often does the money go to people that look like you and I? And it's not a disrespect for any other people, but wouldn't it be nice to be able to give your money to people that look like you and they reciprocate it back to you? Wouldn't that be a beautiful thing to be able to know that when you go to pay your public service bill, the people who own the public service building are people that look like you? When you go to purchase a brand new car, the people that own the car dealership or the people that are making the cars are predominantly, or there's enough of us doing it. It's I don't know how you guys are perceiving what I'm saying. If you perceiving what I'm saying as uh, separation, it's not about separation. It's about me seeing something that you may not even see now. You may not even notice at this point. And it's about building equality, being equal in a land that our ancestors have been in for centuries. And being in this land for centuries and still being in a sort of slump where we still have to acknowledge ourselves to make ourselves known to others. I just think it's unfair to us, and I'm gonna keep bringing that to our attention because it is unfair. It's unfair to not feel like you are a part of something where you've invested your life in. And it's not it's difficult, but it's also simple. It's a solution to just be able to be in the land that you've been in, but yet you be able to claim the same jurisdiction, latitude and longitude of New Jersey, uh, Delaware, New York, wherever you at, and you be able to claim that. And you be able to claim that and create a constitution. Right now, we are being limited, should I say, by constitutions, by laws. So why shouldn't we want to put together laws that will protect our rights as individuals? Why shouldn't we want that? I don't think we're being uh, racist or we're being uh, far reaching for just to want laws that would support our best interests, just to want a government that supports us, that has our back. Like the brother mentioned yesterday, Brother Bay mentioned, you when you think about it and you go to court, and when you go into court, the majority of the times you have to have a lawyer. So that tells you something. Normally, even if you're not guilty, you have to pay for a lawyer to represent you. Now, having your own government, you would be able to reach out to your government without having to pay somebody to represent you. That's one of the benefits that we would have by having what we call council court. That's what we would have a benefit of being able to go to call council court and say, look, I have to, America is trying to take me to court. I need a representation, and it costs you nothing. That alone would be a tremendous savings for us as a people. And it's a true benefit. And it's just our human right to be on an equal playing field. Let's talk about teams. When you whatever team you like, if you like a basketball team, football team, baseball team, hockey team, whatever you like, whenever a team plays a team, there's always equal players and there's equal positions. So if there's equal players and there's equal positions, and we are normally called the minority, that means it's not equal for us when it comes to American government. That means it's not equal for us. So, in order to make it equal for us, that means we have to reestablish our own government so that we can have equal players as an equal team to face the American government. This is why I often speak on it and I continue to speak on it because it's something that is necessary for us to be able to make the transition of being able to not have to worry about certain things that we worry about right now. You know, as I was saying in the beginning, just think about who hand does your money go into? And even if for those who acknowledge themselves as white, I mean, how do you feel being white? And we know how white and black has been used to divide a people because at the end of the day, when you hear or listen to a lot of different platforms and they talk about those of us who acknowledge ourselves as black and then they say that we're dealing with white people, our issue is not with white people. Our issue is with the United States government. White people are not stopping us from doing anything because the government sets the laws. And the other thing that stands in our way when it comes to it is the ideology behind what comes with us acknowledging ourselves as black people. Remember, black people have a stigma that was created by what? The American government. By the American government. We are still trying to dig ourselves out of a hole that was already created by what the definition says we are and what years of mental programming has set mindsets. For example, you go into a you go to get an apartment and there's a person who identify as white and you go and get an apartment and that person sees you and that person sees you and that person looks at you and say, oh, you're a black person, so they don't give you the apartment. Now they're not giving you the apartment. Why? Is it because of really because of your skin complexion, or is it because they have identified you as in opposition, against them. Because if they're white, you black, that means you're all in opposition. This is what has been created by America when you're using the color color line, when you're using the colors back and forth. So really, those who acknowledge themselves as white need to stop doing it as well. They need to acknowledge themselves as who their nationality is, and as well as we need to acknowledge ourselves as who our nationality is. And then we start dealing with each other on a human level, not as a color, black and white, against each other, white being superior, black being inferior. No, as a Moor versus German, or uh, a Moor versus uh, Yugoslavia. Whatever it is, we can deal with people from a nationality basis. This is a legal identity. I speak on this because this is legal. When we deal with things that are written down, that are made law, and law runs the land. We understand that law and order upholds, keep things from going into chaos. So, in order for us to keep things from going to chaos, it's up to us to reestablish our own government, and it's going to take some work, and it'll be easier for some than others, but it'll be beneficial for all. That's the key of being able to look at yourselves in a different manner. I mean, when the information came to me that I was a Moroccan Moor or Moorish, it changed my perspective about how I looked at other people. I no longer looked at myself as a person who were brought here on a ship. No, I looked at myself as a person who ancestors were here prior to any other ships docking on this land, and I have more rights than anybody who come to this land. So, with that being said, I no longer feel inferior or to any other nationality of people. I don't feel inferior because I know that what who I am is who I was created to be. And there's no shame of me being a Moor, Moroccan, or Moorish. Now, let's even, you know, deal with, okay, how many of us who identify as black, when we really look at black, this is black. Do this, am I really this? Do this really look like me? Do this really look like you? This is black. You know what I mean? And let's look at this. This is white. How many people do we actually see these colors? So when we keep buying into this black and white thing, all we're doing is feeding the fire of to keep the racism thing going and to hide what really is happening, which is the colonism, which is another foreign country coming into your country and taking over your country and getting you to abide by their laws because they convince you that you're better off being governed by them rather than being governed by yourselves. That's what actually happened with colonism. You're being governed by someone else rather than yourselves. You don't think that we as a people are brilliant or intelligent enough or competent enough to govern ourselves, to be able to change what's going on, our own social ills? Because look at what's happening. Look at the George Floyd. You never got the law for the George Floyd. Never got it. So we already know that laws are being taken out of schools. Laws are being taken out of whatever laws come in for those of us who acknowledge ourselves as black. Those laws are for everybody. Those laws don't be specifically for us. So we got to be realistic when we dealing with what we're dealing with. It's time for us to decrease the use of calling ourselves what America has said it's okay to call us. And that's both black and white people. Stop using those terms to describe yourselves. Because at the end of the day, they're not legal terms. And all they're doing is separating us as a people when it comes to being able to maneuver and grow as humanity, because humanity has fallen based on a concept called racism that is truly colonism, as I said, because it makes another race of people feel like they supposed to be ahead of the other. Remember what a race means. Race is normally you running against somebody, you're competing against somebody. So just the notion of using race already creates a competition. And we're not in competition with anybody except ourselves, each other. And individually, we trying to do better and be better for ourselves, for our family, for our culture of people. Ultimately, each culture comes together and start to share the differences. We in this territory of Morocco, America has made it that differences should be something to be frowned upon rather than something to be embraced. In reality, it's time for us to start embracing differences when it comes to each other, start to learn about how the differences help each of us grow into better individuals. We all are different, yet we all are similar. But when somebody does something different, a lot of times we've been programmed to think that it's something wrong because you don't do it the way I do it, or you don't worship the way I worship, or you don't talk the way I talk, or you don't walk the way I walk, or you don't look the way I look. We're all different for a purpose. Why? So we can use our differences to enhance each other. That's the reason for the differences. So for us to go for our own different government, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing so-called un-American about that. No, because it's Moroccan. It's for us. It's for us to reestablish or fill the empty seats that has been empty due to us going to try to fill the seats of another government that doesn't represent us. We know that American government doesn't represent us. I can't say it enough. And I'm sure all of you know as well. If it did, I wouldn't be here talking to you because I would have no reason to talk to you because everything would be good with all of us. We all would be good. And we come to rights and privileges. Okay, you have a right to love, peace, and happiness. You have a right to be able to govern yourself. You have a right to self determination. That's a human right. Now, as an American, you get the privilege to drive. You get a privilege to buy a house. That's a privilege. These are things that once you get a house, the way that the American government has designed it, you can pay for your house, but you can lose your house because American government got you and I paying for land that our forefathers and foremothers lived in prior to them ever even touching feet on this ground. So when you really think of it like that, that we're paying for land that we already own because it was inherited. We inherited from our ancestors. But because we've been lied to for years, over 200 and something years, we are now paying foreigners to stay on a land that really belongs to us. Now, why should we continue to do that? Why should we continue paying foreign government to stay on land that belongs to us? Why shouldn't that government be paying us? And I want you guys to, clip this, send it out, let other people see it. You know what I mean? Because we really need to truly understand what is happening to us and how we are being misused and abused because we thinking what we're going through is okay. We thinking what we're doing is normal. Yeah, you're right. We you should you should feel some kind of way, and the way that we fix that is we reestablish our 50 states, and then we start petitioning them about no, we don't have to continue to pay you. You need to start paying us. This is how we get the reparations we talk about. We can't get reparations as black people because black people legally don't exist on paper. Now, Moroccan Moors and Moorish people exist on paper. So that's what we it's time for us to do to start taking back what's ours legally. Legally. By they took it with a pen, we take it back with a pen. So this is what it's time for us to do. Because, like, you really think about it. You really think about that. Like water, you're paying a water bill. Most places if you in a place, you're unable to drink the water. You're unable to drink the water out of the faucet without a filter. You need a filter. Or you got to go to the store and buy water. Why? Why? Because a foreign government that convinced us that it was for us, got us paying them. And then we talk about how it was 400 years of slave labor. What's going on with us now? We're working and they're taking taxes out of our money and then sending our money to other countries that don't represent us. We don't get to choose where they send our money at. They send our money where they want to send our money. So we're being disenfranchised. We're being abused by a so-called government. One, eight, a so-called government. 4, 3, 2. A so-called, pardon me. 6. A so-called government that actually is using us to take care of them. Why shouldn't we reestablish a government that we can utilize that will truly take care of us? It makes sense. And this is how we must start looking at it. We must start looking at it like reestablishing our own government just makes sense to do. What's happening to us now don't make any sense. And it's time for, because we look at our young people and we say our young people are off the hook. Why are they off the hook? Because they're really seeing some of the stuff that we don't see. They're really seeing that we're being played. We're being played like suckers. And many of us walk around, you know, uh, black this, black that. We got to do no. The black is what's keeping us back because it's not who we are. It's something that a description that truly don't even really describe most of us. Because like I showed you, none of us are truly black, just like none of them are truly white. So it's time for us to stop that. And our time has ran out. I would like for you guys to go to my Facebook page, Peep Game TV, live at 5, and look at study session, Impact study session 132. Watch that, and it'll help you get a little clearer understanding of what I'm talking about. That's my Facebook page, Peep Game TV, live at 5, Impact, AMPAC study session 132. I appreciate you guys for watching, and we're going to keep going at this till we get those 50 states. Once we get those 50 states, we're going to start dealing with what we need to deal with as a people, as a whole, and make the changes that we need to be making. Until tomorrow, love somebody the way that you want to be loved. Peace.